There's a reason the world's most successful people always seem so calm. It's not money. It's a secret technique called the glass of stillness. In 5 minutes, I'm going to show you how a young man named Oliver used one simple task to delete a lifetime of stress. In a world that never sleeps, 24-year-old Oliver felt like he was drowning in a sea of his own making. Oliver, a young black man with eyes that held the depth of a midnight sky, was a prisoner. Not of walls or chains, but of a mind that refused to be still. He lived in a small village tucked beneath the jagged peaks of the northern mountains. To anyone else, it was a paradise. To Oliver, it was a cage. While his peers were building lives, falling in love, and finding purpose, Oliver was stuck in the what-ifs. What if I fail like my father did? What if the world leaves me behind? His anxiety wasn't just a feeling, it was a physical weight. Statistics tell us that nearly 31% of adults will experience an anxiety disorder at some point in their lives. But for Oliver, he wasn't a statistic. He was a man who had forgotten how to smile. His nights were spent staring at the ceiling, his mind replaying every mistake he'd made since he was 10 years old. He was exhausted. Not the kind of exhaustion that sleep can fix, but the kind that seeps into your soul. Word reached the village of a man who lived in the high ridges. They called him the Architect of Calm. His name was Dr. Bennett, an elderly white man who had once been the city's most prestigious psychologist. After 40 years of studying the human brain, after seeing the chaos of the urban sprawl, Bennett had retired to a small cottage covered in ivy. They said Bennett didn't just give advice, he gave sight to the blind, those blinded by their own thoughts. Oliver, clutching a worn rucksack and a glimmer of hope, began the trek. He climbed for 3 days. His legs ached, but the pain in his chest, the tightness of worry, was far worse. He needed to know, is it possible to truly be silent? When Oliver finally reached the cottage, he saw him. Dr. Bennett was sitting on a simple wooden porch. His skin was pale and weathered like parchment, and his hair was a shock of snowy white. He sat so still that a blue jay had perched on the railing just inches from his hand. Oliver stopped, gasping for breath. The contrast was striking. The young black man, vibrant but vibrating with nervous energy, and the old white man, frail but as steady as the mountain itself. "Grandfather," Oliver whispered, his voice cracking. "I can't breathe. My mind, it's a storm that won't break. I've traveled miles because they say you have the key. Please, I just want to be still." Bennett opened his eyes. They weren't the faded eyes of the elderly. They were sharp, piercing blue and filled with an inexplicable kindness. He didn't offer a lecture. He didn't hand him a pill. He stood up slowly and walked to a stone well in the yard. He filled a crystal glass to the absolute brim. The water curved over the rim, held only by surface tension. "Oliver," Bennett said, his voice like the rustle of dry leaves. "Take this glass. Walk to the edge of the village at the base of this hill, through the market, and back to me. If you spill a single drop, one single tear of water, you fail. Do you understand?" Oliver looked at the glass. It seemed impossible. "But the road is rocky. The people are loud." "Focus," Bennett replied. "Go." Oliver took the glass. His hands, usually trembling with caffeine and nerves, suddenly locked into place. He stepped off the porch and onto the dusty path. The village below was a chaotic symphony. It was market day. A group of children ran past him, their laughter echoing off the stone walls. A merchant shouted prices for fresh produce. A stray dog barked incessantly at a passing cart. A group of travelers argued over a map. Normally, Oliver would have absorbed all of it. He would have judged the children, worried about the merchant's anger, and felt the irritation of the dog's bark. But today, he saw nothing but the silver curve of the water's surface. He watched the way the light refracted through the liquid. He timed his breathing to his footsteps. He walked through the center of the crowd. A man bumped his shoulder. Oliver didn't flinch. He simply adjusted his center of gravity to keep the glass level. His focus was so intense, it was as if the rest of the world had turned into a silent black and white movie, while the glass in his hand was the only thing in high-definition color. He reached the village boundary and turned back. The uphill climb was harder. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His muscles screamed. But his mind? His mind was a vacuum. There was no room for what if, because there was only this drop. An hour later, Oliver stood before Dr. Bennett. The glass was still full. Not a drop had touched the dust. "I did it," Oliver panted, a strange sense of triumph washing over him. "It's full." Bennett leaned back, a small smile playing on his lips. "Tell me, Oliver, while you were walking, did you see the beautiful tapestries the women were weaving in the square?" Oliver blinked. "No." "Did you hear the song the blacksmith was singing? It's a local favorite." "No," Oliver said. "I didn't hear anything." "Were you worried about your family's debt while you crossed the bridge? Were you thinking about your failures from last year?" Oliver paused. A look of realization dawned on his face. "No, I couldn't. If I thought about those things, the water would have spilled. I only thought about the now." Bennett stood up and took the glass. "That, Oliver, is the secret you climbed a mountain to find. Your suffering doesn't come from your life. It comes from your absence from it." Bennett emptied the glass onto the thirsty earth. "You see," Bennett continued, "the human mind is like this glass. When you fill it with the past, it overflows with regret. When you fill it with the future, it overflows with anxiety. But when you are focused on the task at hand, the water of the present moment, there is no room for the ghosts of yesterday or the monsters of tomorrow." Oliver felt a tear roll down his cheek. For the first time in years, the tightness in his chest vanished. He realized that for the last 60 minutes, he hadn't been depressed. He hadn't been anxious. He had simply been. Statistics show that the average person has about 6,000 thoughts per day. For most of us, 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% are repetitive. We are walking through our lives spilling our water everywhere because we are looking at everyone else's path instead of our own glass. "You don't need a wise man on a hill," Bennett said, placing a hand on Oliver's shoulder. The contrast of the old, pale hand against Oliver's dark skin was a silent testament to a universal truth. Peace does not care about your origin. It only cares about your attention. Oliver stayed in the hills for a few more days, not to learn more secrets, but to practice the art of holding the glass. When he finally descended back to his village, he walked differently. His shoulders were back. His gaze was steady. When he encountered a problem, he didn't let it trigger a spiral of 1,000 thoughts. He looked at the problem, handled it like a drop of water, and moved on. He started a small business. He reconnected with his mother. He began to smile, not a fake, forced smile for the world, but a deep, soulful smile that came from a place of internal quiet. He realized that life will always be loud. There will always be barking dogs, shouting merchants, and steep hills. But as long as you keep your eyes on the glass, as long as you stay in the now, the storm outside can never become a storm inside. So, what did Oliver really learn on that mountain? He went searching for a miracle, but Dr. Bennett gave him a mirror. He showed him that our anxiety isn't caused by the world around us. It's caused by our absence from the present. Think about it. The past is a ghost that feeds on your regret. The future is a monster that feeds on your fear. But the present? The present is the only place where you actually have power. Oliver walked through a chaotic market, past barking dogs and shouting merchants, and he didn't feel a shred of stress. Why? Because his mind was 100% committed to the drop of water in his hand. He proved that when you focus entirely on the task in front of you, whether it's washing the dishes, writing a report, or just breathing, there is simply no room left for fear. The glass of stillness isn't just a story, it's a strategy. You are currently holding your own glass. Every time you worry about a bill that isn't due yet, or a mistake you made 3 years ago, you are spilling your water. You are losing your life to things that don't exist. Stop spilling your peace for a future that hasn't happened. Hold your glass steady. Breathe. Be here. If you're tired of the noise inside your head, let this be the day you start choosing the now. Comment the word stillness below if you are committing to living in the present moment from this day forward. Don't forget to like this video if it gave you some peace today, and subscribe for more stories that will help you rebuild your mind, one thought at a time. Stay focused, stay peaceful, and we'll see you in the next story.